practicing your Spanish? CP3 put up 5, 5, 7 in 23 minutes before fouling out of Sunday's 111-101 loss to Dallas. Here's the point guard on the fouls.
I got to look back at it. You know what I mean? I can't put myself in the situations to give them that ability to do that. You know what I mean? So I just got to look at myself and figure out how to be better.
If you had to pick one place the team has to adjust after these last 2 games, where would it be?
I don't know. I got to look at the film, figure it out. It was like a blur tonight.
The Suns will look to bounce back when the series shifts back to Phoenix on Tuesday, knotted at 2-2. JJ, I'll start with you. How much of these losses are on Chris Paul specifically?
A lot of them are, but basketball obviously is a team sport. You go to game 3, the 7 turnovers, game 4, in foul trouble the whole time. I had a real problem with his 5th foul. CP is one of the smartest basketball players I know. He knows all the rules. And that move where he ran in front of Jalen Brunson and then fell down, he has done that throughout his career. He'll get the ball after a rebound, he'll find a big, he'll run in front of the big and fall over and get the foul. The problem is they changed that rule, and now it's an offensive foul, and CP knows that. So in that moment, for him to make a decision like that, again, not to overkill the word befuddling, but it was befuddling, that moment. I actually would like to give Dallas some credit here. Because after game 1 and 2, Jason Kidd talked about someone else joining the party with Luka Doncic.
That's right.
And we got a big game
Dorian
3.
Finney-Smith, yeah.
Jalen Brunson, 28 points in game 3. Last night, Dorian Finney-Smith, 8 threes, 24 points, showing his value as a two-way player. But even the other role players, Reggie Bullock, Davis Bertans, Maxi Kleber, they all had big moments in game 3 and game 4. So as much as it is about CP's struggles, a little bit of Mikal Bridges' struggles, a little bit of Cam Payne's struggles, yeah, it's all that. But give Dallas some credit for those guys stepped up.
Well, let me break this down. Here's how you give Dallas credit. They got 5, count them, 5 dudes that are hitting threes. Bertans at, 53% from 3. You got Dinwiddie and Bullock at 40% from 3. Kleber at 44% from 3. Finney-Smith after yesterday at 48% shooting from three-point range. That's 5 dudes that shooting threes that surrounding, Luka Doncic. And, of course, Jalen Brunson dropped 28 in game 3. So Dallas deserves credit for stepping up and answering the call that Jason Kidd made to them. He deserves He deserves a whole boatload of credit for the way he's coaching. And Nico Harrison for the trade that got rid of Porzingis. And you got Bertans and Dinwiddie. And they're both making contributions, especially in game 4. I like that. But let's be real about something. CP3 was awful. It's my brother. I love him dearly. We gonna call it like we see it because it's not gonna last. Okay, that will be corrected. But we gotta be honest, okay, and talk about, in game 3, you had a career high in turnovers in the first half. Okay, all right, 7 in the first half. That's game 3. Game 4, you finished with more fouls than points. I mean, that's just pathetic. There's just no way. There's just no way to slice that. And we can say that about CP3 with a smile on our face, because it ain't gonna last. If there's ever a brother that's gonna look at it and when he says he's gonna look at film and he's gonna figure it out, he gonna look at film, he gonna figure it out. There's no reason to believe otherwise. And so you're talking about a situation where it's Monty Williams who defers a lot to CP3. CP3 knowing the mind that he has and the mind that Jason Kidd has. So you're basically having a point guard battle between a coach and a point guard on the floor. You're going to pay attention to all of that. But other cats on Phoenix have got to step up. And I'm going to call out Devin Booker here, even though he had 35 yesterday. In this regard, you're that dude. First team All-NBA, MVP candidate. There are moments where it has to be, give me the damn ball.
You don't think it was that yesterday?
And I think he tried. And I think to some degree listen, they got the ball. Don't get me wrong. There were times when they blitzed him a little bit, got the ball out of his hands. I'm just simply saying that when we see, because I think that Booker has that potential to be talked about as one of the all-time greats, the way we talk about some others. I think moments like that, you have to find a way to take the hell over and match bucket for bucket if you have to. It's not his fault. It's not a negative. I'm just saying that Devin Booker has that potential. And I think that, we're going to have to see that because, again, Dallas is no joke. They're no joke.
You don't think it was
Phoenix
more, though,
still
that the
winning.
fact they just couldn't get a stop and Dorian Finney-Smith just went crazy?
No, I agree. No, of course it is.
Like,
of course
to
I
me,
saw
it wasn't
that.
this
It's like
is-
Bertans hit 4 straight
Look,
threes in the first half.
You look at like Mikal Bridges, CP, DeAndre Ayton. They were all fantastic against the Pelicans in this series.
Right.
Across the board, their numbers are all down.
Right.
I didn't mention Devin Booker. To me, he's doing his job, and I just want to.
I didn't say he wasn't doing his job, though. I'm just talking about.
Okay.
Bertans, let me
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
right.
But I think if Devin Booker says I'm going to go into Kobe mode, they're still not winning that game. Yesterday.
Well, what I'm saying to you is this: they couldn't get a stop. But if you remember in Game 2, CP3 goes crazy. I mean,
in the
just
fourth,
goes
you're talking about
ballistic.
in the fourth quarter.
Yes,
Yeah.
when he went berserk. He departs from after staring Dallas's bench down, looking at them, and just demoralized them because they couldn't stop him. And then Booker and Monty Williams are together and smiling and laughing. And then Booker comes in the game and hits 3 straight threes. They close the deal. What I'm trying to say to you, and you know this better than me, there are certain moments from a star caliber individual that can demoralize another franchise. So it's like, there's nothing we can do. And I'm saying to you that when you see Dallas coming at you that way, we saw them coming before Finney-Smith exploded. We saw them coming in the quarters before that. I'm saying there comes a moment in time where you got to sense CP3's already in foul trouble with 4 fouls in the first half. You got to look at it and go like this. Give me the damn ball. We gonna cut this off right now before anything transpires. That's what I'm talking about.
I want to just say, too, I'll take some of the blame here for CP's horrible weekend because I had Tim Legler on the podcast, and one of the topics we talked about was, is this the best version of CP that we've ever seen? And then the dude turns 37 on Friday, and he looks 45. I mean, this is...
it's just a bad weekend.
It's a bad weekend. He had a bad
Mother's
weekend.
Day on top of the birthday. I mean, dang.
Phoenix is still winning this series.
Yes, I believe so as well. But Dallas
of
is
Mother's
no
Day.
joke. Dallas is no joke.
Speaking of Mother's Day, I want to talk about actually an incident involving his mother and his wife. So let's get to that off-the-court issue. So the Mavericks removed a fan after an incident with Chris Paul's family. Paul tweeting after the Game 4 in Dallas, want to find players for saying stuff to the fans, but the fans can put hands on our families. Bump that. Paul's mom, wife, and 2 children watched the game close to the Suns bench, and his mom had hands put on her, and his wife was pushed, a source telling our Dave McMenamin, adding that Paul's kids were there to witness it all. Dallas said in a statement that it's unacceptable behavior, will not be tolerated by the Mavericks, along with American Airlines Center swiftly removing the fan from the game. Stephen A.
Well, let me say one thing off the bat.
Okay.
That tweet by Chris Paul was actually inaccurate. Who said they can put hands on their fans? The fan was removed from the arena immediately. The Dallas Mavericks quickly addressed the situation. Clearly, it's not allowed. And so the point is that, you know, when you make a statement like that with respect to the former president of the Players Association, who is universally respected, particularly his brilliance, his acumen, the fact of the matter is that there isn't a fan in today's NBA that can get away with doing something and they know it and they don't do something about it. We saw the great LeBron James, who never, ever did this in his career, literally walk over and pointed out a fan to security and had that fan removed. We saw somebody stupidly try to do something to Russell Westbrook, and they found out who that fan was, and they had him removed. We saw another fan do something in Utah as it pertained to Russell Westbrook, and that was addressed. And so let's be very, very clear. There are absolutely, positively a few stupid, idiotic fans that look like a kid, and that's really no excuse. You're old enough to know better. Somebody, his parents should slap him upside his head and get him to act right because he embarrassed their name by acting like a fool, all right? But he was removed from the game. But by and large, you have most fans who know better and act better. Now, in defense of the NBA players like Chris Paul and others, there are fans that get out of control. And I'm not talking, they never do anything physically because they know better, because you ain't going to do things to these guys' face. You do it while you're in the stands and stuff like that because you know you're insulated and protected, at least from physical harm from these guys. But that's given them a license to do things that they shouldn't be doing. There are things that no player No professional athlete should be subjected to it. And I am an advocate, not in this particular case. Again, if he put his hands on somebody, arrest is behind. And the last part that I want to say is this, as it pertains to defense of Chris Paul, because people were looking at him at the press conference and he was talking to people he didn't seem focused or whatever. Let me tell y'all something. God rest her wonderful soul. If somebody ever had put their hands on my mother, there is no laws. I'll think about the law later. I'm going to look to do something to you. That's just not happening. And so when you talk about family members, your mother, your wife, your children, all of a sudden, all this other stuff is not, that takes second place. You got to deal with them. And if that kid had actually done something, you know what? I would have been a proponent of him getting his ass whipped right there at the arena. Because who you think you are touching somebody?
You remember when Antonio Davis went up in the stands?
I didn't blame him.
Because somebody was messing with his wife?
I didn't blame him.
Yeah. It really is unfortunate that this happened. And I agree with you. Look, there's a sentiment amongst a very small percentage of fans that because I paid a lot of money for my tickets and I'm sitting close to the court, I can say whatever I want and do whatever I want with no recourse. And by and large, there is recourse every single time. Whether Chris's tweet was accurate or not,
right.
you brought up a perfect point. Whether it was the press conference or this tweet, the emotions that he must have felt to hear and see someone messing with his mother, his wife, in front of his kids. There's just no place for it. There's just no place for it.
And go into protective mode. Yeah.
That's
exactly.
Right.
Right. Exactly. All logic.
Yeah.
All rationale goes out the window.
It goes out the window.
Yeah.
It goes out the window, especially when it comes to your family. And in particular, let's be real. Any decent man is going to feel that way, but especially when it comes to their mama.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to their mama.
Yeah.
On Mother's Day.
Yeah.
On Mother's Day.
And his
I mean,
wife,
come on.
Of course. All right. We'll leave it there, guys. Still to come here on First Take.